Hello, I'm back. So back in Tennessee, Chewy and Mr. Chirpy return, and here we go again. So I'm kind of confused by this one. I really am, because it's a very rare thing to feel that a film does not work as what it is intended to be, and yet still works. Because this film, I believe, is supposed to be a comedy. And in those terms, I did not laugh at it that often. I had a few kind of, moments here and there, but I didn't laugh at it. So if that's how you're judging a comedy, then this one doesn't fit the bill. But now here's the really weird thing. I was still really entertained by this movie and actually really liked it. I don't know if it works as a comedy, but it definitely works as kind of a light action film. It works as, it's a little known kind of subgenre of the spy genre. It's the person who's not a spy becomes a spy genre. Of course, the ultimate of these films is 1991's If Looks Could Kill. If you've never seen that, it's a delightful mosh of 90s crap. But there have been many films in that vein, and many films that have tried to do it, and none of them really do it well. And this film does it pretty well, honestly. It's fun enough that you can forgive the kind of the nonsensical point of it, but at the same time, it's serious enough, and its characters feel natural enough that it almost plays like a straight action film. And I've never encountered that before. It's so weird. Yeah, it's just really fucking weird. I've never seen that happen, where it just does not work as what it was intended to be, but still works as a movie. So, in case you haven't seen it, or in case you haven't heard of it, Mila Kunis's character is dating a guy, or was dating a guy. The movie opens with her having been dumped by the dude. And it turns out he was a spy. He hid something in her apartment. Now she and her best friend, played by Kate McKinnon, have to go on this globe-trotting adventure of, international intrigue and yada, yada, yada. The plot is pretty much what you would expect it to be. What makes this movie really good, at least to me, is that Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon have really good chemistry together. Mila Kunis is one of those actors who's had a real hard time kind of finding her niche in the acting world, in the movie world, and whatnot. She's tried a lot of things, and nothing's really worked for her outside of that 70s show and, being Meg on Family Guy. But in terms of her as a movie presence or whatnot, it's never really clicked. But here, I think she has found, a character or something that just feels natural. She's a nice mix of a lot of these, stereotypical, 30-something young person who doesn't quite have their life together. She's not stupid. She's not lazy. She's not a moron. She's just having a rough time. And whereas compare this to, like, that fat chick from Snatched and her character in that movie, of just being a lazy slob who just wants everyone to solve her problems for her. It's not that. But Mila Kunis does a really good job, kind of as if there is a lead amongst the two girls, it's definitely her. And she pulls it off really well. Kate McKinnon balances her really well. I will say Kate McKinnon walks that really fine line between being too much, and they say that about her character in the movie. A lot of people say, anyone ever tell you you're too much? And she kind of walks that line of that person who's a little too sarcastic, a little too quick with a joke, a little too, that sarcastic friend who's just not, too sarcastic to be real. You know what I mean? And she walks that line. But here's the funny thing. I was about to kind of run off, and then I started thinking, she kind of reminds me of some people I know. Not in a bad way, but in that, no, this character could actually exist because I can actually name 3 or 4 people that her character reminds me of. So I think she walks that line, but I only think every now and then she kind of steps her toe over the line, but it's always pulled back. And I think when the moment needs to be pulled back, either she does it or Mila Kunis' character pulls her back. So it's always just kind of right there. What's also really neat about this movie is that as much as a film like this can, with a premise like this can, it builds logically. The two of them start out just, trying to stay alive, and anything they do is just either by accident or some kind of takeoff of a skill they had. Mila Kunis' character, they show it in the trailer, is like really good at a shooting video game. So because of that, she knows how to aim and shoot. And it's not like she's shooting for anything big; she's shooting for a person. And she even says, I just pull the trigger like in the video game. So they start out, kind of helpless, and then just little by little, as the film goes on, they get more and more confident. And it feels like a natural build. So when they get to the end, and some of the set pieces they have there, it's silly and it's over the top, but it's not so far over the top that you couldn't believe these characters could do it. And I think that's good. It's rare to see a film like this, with a premise like this, where there is actual character growth and actual character development. It's very rare. It's small character development. I'm not saying, it's anything, it's, Chekhovian or anything in its, in its structure, but it's there. And again, that's very rare. You don't see that a lot. And I think, again, the thing that holds the film together is that relationship and that chemistry between our two leads. They really work well off each other, and the two characters really work well off each other. You get the feeling this is more a film about them and them surviving due to their friendship and their knowledge of each other and their ability to kind of work together and work off each other, more than it's anything else. And I think it's just playing with that idea against a bigger scale. So yeah, wildly entertaining. Maybe not funny, because again, I only laughed a couple times, but it wasn't one of those things where like Overboard a few months ago, where I went huh, and then the rest of the time I was just so freaking bored or repulsed. It was but the rest of the time I was really engaged, and really enjoying it. It also, I have to give it credit that it does not go too far over the edge in terms of the gross out humor that a lot of modern day comedies feel like they have to employ. It has its gross out stuff in there, but it happens really quick, and then they cut away. They don't linger on anything too long, which I guess if you have to do it, if you really feel like you gotta do shit and shit jokes, that's the best way to do it. You do it really quick, and then you get out. So I give the movie a lot of credit for for that. Not much to talk about in terms of other performances. Fun cameo from Gillian Anderson as kind of the M of the spy group there. It was fun to see her. There's another girl in this, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name. She plays kind of a very Bond-esque villain or henchman, a gymnast who's like super, super good at killing people and whatnot. And she's really good. She's really intimidating. I have no idea what her name is or how to even go about pronouncing it, so I don't want to try and just really butcher it. But she's really good, one of those actors who just gives you a look, and she has some really good looks in this film of just, and you just see how dangerous and scary she is. It's like, oh man, I kind of want to see her in an actual Bond movie, And I'd hate to see her get, typecast or pigeonholed a little too much, but you almost kind of want to see her in a Bond movie. Everyone else is just kind of there filling out their roles. You have the handsome James Bond guy and all this. So everyone else does an okay job, but really the focus is on the two main girls, and that's where it should be. If I have criticism of this film, and I do, but nothing too strenuous. I think the main thing is that I think it goes on a little too long. I think it's a little too long of a movie. There were stretches where I was starting to go, okay, we should be wrapping this up. So that's not so good. The plot also was a bit convoluted, in terms of who's betraying who's really the bad guy, who's behind it all, who can you trust, and all this, which adds to the fun in the beginning, and it works story-wise to keep the girls isolated and kind of on their own and surviving on their wits and whatnot. But it doesn't do much towards wrapping up and giving you a satisfying conclusion. So I think that kind of played against it. I think if you're going to go here, and I realize we're in a different era of Bond movies, but if you're going to kind of parody Bond movies, I think you need to kind of go with that. It builds and builds and builds into a super, kind of plan, and not something so, mundane as a flash drive that you're going to sell to terrorists and all that. I think you can build up to it a little bit more. And again, the other knock against it is that it's set out to be a comedy, but again, I don't think it's really that funny. It just doesn't have, it doesn't have any really big belly laughs. The humor is there, and it's got some good stuff. But yeah, it just doesn't work. However, some of the action scenes work. The chase scene from the trailer is really good, and again, very well staged, from two characters who are just, trying to survive and don't have any training and aren't superheroes or anything, and just trying to survive by their wits and everything. It really makes that chase something fun and really, really entertaining. Yeah, I don't know about this one, because again, not really what I thought it was going to be, but I came out really enjoying it and wanting to watch it again. And that's kind of the thing I've missed a lot this year at the movies, is that feeling of, I want to watch this movie again. Even a lot of the movies I have liked, I don't have that, that desire to go back and rewatch them. It's like, okay, I enjoyed that, but I don't think I need to see it ever again. But this one I really did like. So, and surprisingly so. I was not expecting to like it. I thought it was going to be a terrible film, but it surprised me. I'm not going to say it's a great film, but entertaining, good, better than it had any right to be, and I think that's saying something. So, yeah, I don't know quite what else to say about this one, except final grade. I'm gonna go B+ on this one, and I give it a B+ simply because it was kind of in that in-between space where it could have gone crazy comedy, it could have gone, kind of lighthearted action, and it was too far in one area and then too far in the other, or not enough in one. So because of that, it does feel a little unbalanced. It does feel a little, teeter-tottery at times, especially with Kate McKinnon's character. You couldn't tell if she was trying to be someone we're supposed to take seriously, or a walking sarcastic stereotype. But that all being true, the movie is still a lot of fun. Kate McKinnon and Mila Kunis work really well off each other and create a really fun action film. I was really happy about this. So yeah, a little shorter Homecoming than usual, but I mean, when there's not much to say, there's not much to say. I hope people go check it out. I really do. So yeah, had a good time with this one. Gonna try to see a couple more. School starts Monday, so back to the salt mines, but drive home reviews will always be there. I know everyone's just so excited about that. So, until next time, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.